There seems to have been quite a bit of interest in the brown passenger tank engine I used in my previous passenger coach video. I thought today we might make her slightly bigger sister. To get things started, the first thing you will need is a stretch of track and a train station in build mode. We're going to right click this blue section of track here to start placing our bogies. Going to crouch right click on the block at the top to open the bogie menu, and then we're going to swap over to the steam and rails menu using this toggle button down here. We're going to scroll from standard to double axles and select the Y25 bogie and hit the check mark. We're going to count 1, 2, 3 blocks here, and on the fourth one we're going to do the same thing. Right click the track and crouch right click the block. In the blocks and bogies menu we're going to change it from a truck bogie to a driver bogie. We're going to change it from vol shirts to pistonless, and we're going to select extra large and just make sure we're on an axle count of 2. Click the check mark to select, and then for the trailing bogie we're going to count 1, 2 block gap. The next one should be blue, and that's the piece of track we'll use. Like the leading bogie, we're going to right click the block, click the toggle menu button, scroll down from standard to single, and select the medium single wheel bogie and apply it. And that is the start of our 442 Atlantic tank. To prepare ourselves blockwise, we're going to need some black Locomotive pillars, some chutes, some girders, the item hatches from Create 6, some polished deep slate stairs, our copycat headstocks, copycat half panels, and copycat slices, both horizontal and vertical. Starting off at the front, we're going to place a pillar in front of the bogie block here, in between the bogie blocks here like this, again for the rear, and one last one on the very back, and that will make our main frame. Starting to bulk this out, we're going to place our chutes above both axles of the leading bogie, and then place our metal girder in between them like this. And that's the same for both sides. We're going to place a chute above the trailing axle like this, and then place an item hatch on the front of these chutes like that. Behind the chutes we're going to put our polished deep slate stairs facing upside down. For the headstocks, if you selected the wrong headstock, you can hold the block in your hand and press down the left Alt button, and that should bring up this radial menu where you can select any different kind of headstock. First we'll need the buffers, which are right at the top, and we'll place those on either side. Then we will need our screw link, which is the bottom left, and she goes in the middle. Same for the front, the screw link in the middle, hold the left Alt button, select the buffers, and place these either side like that. Filling in our running board, we're going to use these copycat half panels across the first 3 blocks like this. Swapping over to our copycat slices, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for these last 3 again, we're going to use the copycat half panels like that. This is mirrored on the other side with our 3 half panels, 4 copycat slices, and another 3 half panels on the front like that. Setting us up for our running gear, we're going to use our copycat vertical slice and place it on the outside rear end of these chutes, just like that. Continuing this to the back, we're going to place our horizontal slices underneath this, going all the way to the back and stopping under the chute. At the stairs, we're going to place a copycat half panel on the front half like that. This is mirrored on the other side. Like that. Moving on to the boiler, we're going to need the following blocks. Some copycat half layers, some copycat layers, some copycat half panels, our copycat headstocks, coal burning smokestacks, a brown Locomotive smoke box, a black Locomotive smoke box, brown steel boilers from Pretty and Pink, and the brown steel hulls from Pretty and Pink. Starting us off with the smoke box, we're going to place a temporary block at the front here. We're going to place our smokestack on top of this and build it up by 1, and if you'd like you can right click to turn off the particles. We're then going to place our copycat layer behind this, like that, and build it up by an extra 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to place 2 brown Locomotive smoke boxes behind this, like that. Another copycat layer built up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And behind this we're going to place another copycat layer built up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 layers in total. The space under this can be filled in with a brown steel boiler. We're going to place a temporary block aligned with our item hatches here. We're going to crouch right click, place the brown hull steel here and here, so it shifts up by half a block, and that will be our firebox. We can then remove this temporary block. We can remove this temporary block underneath the smokestack here. On the front half, we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 half layers, just like the boiler. And then on the back half, we want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way down. And this is mirrored on the block behind it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Either side of the smokestack, we're going to place our copycat headstocks, as well as on the front. The gaps underneath we can fill in with our copycat half panels, like this, to finish off our smoke box. For the very cap of the smokestack, we're going to hold it in our hand, and like the headstocks, we're going to hold the left Alt button on our keyboard. We're going to select the iron capped variant, and then crouch right click to start a new loop, so we get this nice curvature from top to bottom. And we can turn those particles off if we'd like. To fill in all the copycats we've placed thus far, for the smoke box, we want to use the black Locomotive smoke box, facing it towards the front, like that. Same for the very front, and same for the other side, as well as this first half down here, like that. For these blocks all along the top, we want our brown steel tanks, and make sure the line is at the front, like that. And the same for these other two. This 6 half layer gets the same block. These 2 that are left, we will fill in with our black Locomotive pillars, and we will realign them to connect, just like this, making sure the rivets are along the bottom. While we have them in our hand, we're going to use our copycat half layers, and underneath the chutes we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that, on both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do the same in the middle, 1, 2 layers this time. And the same on this side, 1, 2. Filling in the rest of these copycats, we're going to use some crimsite pillars, some red slashed locometal, some metal brackets, some layered scorchia, and an industrial iron support from Create Deco. For our nice bright red running board, we're going to place from front to back locometal, crimsite pillar on its side, another locometal, crimsite pillars on all 4 slices, and then 3 more pillars at the back, just like that. Underneath here, we're going to fill in all of these slices with our layered scorchia. The half layers underneath these chutes we will fill in with our brackets and make sure they're pointing downwards like this. The 2 half layers in the middle will be our deco support. And the same on the other side. Brackets underneath the chutes, our industrial iron support in the middle, and then above this from front to back, locometal, crimsite pillar on its side, another locometal, 4 more crimsite pillars, and 3 more crimsite pillars at the very back. Finishing it all up, we're going to use our layered scorchia on all slices underneath these. For the final touches, we're going to use the red steel tanks and a plain slashed locometal block. These half panels underneath will be our plain locometal, and then the red steel tanks we will use to fill in our buffer beams like this, not forgetting to do the front. She's really starting to take shape now. We've just got to do the tanks, bunker and cab, and a few extra details. For the bunker and cab, we're going to start off by grabbing the following blocks. Some copycat panels, copycat slabs, some half panels, some half layers, some copycat horizontal slices, some corner slices, and some blank copycat headstocks, some train controls, and some iron wrapped brown locometal. For the side tanks, we're going to place a temporary block in line with the steam dome on top of the chute, and place a copycat slab on top of this. We're going to extend the slab forward by 1, and then place another slab directly under it like that. We can continue the slab on the top all the way back to the end of the firebox. These can then all be filled in with our iron wrapped locometal, leaving a gap on the second row here, and filling in the rest just like that. And the same on the other side. A slab on the front with one underneath it, a single slab next to the steam dome, following that all the way back to the back of the firebox, filling it all in with our locometal, and then the rest of the tank, leaving our single gap above the second leading axle. To start our work on the cab, we're going to place our train controls in the middle, and 2 temporary blocks either side. On the side of these temporary blocks, we're going to place a copycat panel, and then place another temporary block on top, and place a copycat half panel on the front like that. Same for the other side. We're going to place 2 copycat panels on either side, starting us off with the roof. For the middle, we're going to use our copycat slab. We're going to place another 2 temporary blocks on top of these chutes, and then 2 copycat half panels on the back half to finish off our cab walls. For the bunker, we're going to place a set of train controls in the middle facing backwards, and then 2 iron wrapped Locometal either side. We can now remove all the temporary blocks we have placed thus far, placing our copycat half layers in this pattern. It doesn't have to be exact, but this is how I like to represent our coal in the bunker, just like that. And then these can be walled in with our copycat headstocks, like that. Adding a little bit of overhang on the cab, we're going to use our copycat half panels on the back of the panels like this, quickly grabbing a copycat step and filling in that gap in the middle. We're going to place our copycat slices all along the edges of the panels like this, our corners to fill in these gaps, and then a copycat half panel on the front of the slabs like that. The last thing we're going to use these blocks for is to fill in both large panels of the cab, just like that, with our iron wrapped Locometal. To fill all these blocks in and finish off our cab, we're going to need some brown steel tanks, some brown steel boilers, some copycat stacked half layers, some layered crimsite contraption controls, some blackstone, a copycat board, dark oak windows from Create, and some brushed black steel. Our boards will be our front windows like this, filling them in with the dark oak window. It'll also be used to cover up this train control here, which we will place our brown steel boiler in, like that. Our stacked half layers will make up our rear wall, placing them on both edges like that, and a board in the middle, just like that. This board will be our steel tank, as will the bottom half layers like this. Notice to align this across so it is even. And then the top 2 half layers will be our windows for reversing. Filling in the rest of the cab, we're going to use our brown steel tank on the front block like this, and our brown steel boiler on the 2 rear blocks like this. Tank and steel boiler. We're going to fill in these headstock gates with the brown steel boiler like that. We're also going to use it to fill in the bunker. Our blackstone acts as our coal, and it can go in the copycat layers at the back. Our layered crimsite is going to create our red roof lining. This goes in the copycat slices and the half panel on the top of the roof. The black brushed steel goes in the copycat slabs and step at the top of the cab like that. We're going to quickly pick up some black steel boilers and use these in the panels like this, making sure that the line is on the outside, which will create a nice rain strip so the footplate crew does not get wet. And the same on the other side. Going in for our final details to give her a bit more life, we're going to use a decorated pot, some candles, a deployer, a dark oak pressure plate, a black toolbox, and because I forgot to put them down, our contraption controls. The contraption controls go anywhere in the cab. I'm going to put them in the left like that. You want to place a deployer in this, and this is to stop it from punching the sky because we're going to be using it as our whistle. In front of the deployer we're going to use our decorated pot and then place 2 candles inside it for our safety valves. The dark oak pressure plate goes on top of here and rounds off our steam dome very nicely. The toolboxes are going to be our sanding boxes, and they will go in both sides of the tank just like that. An extra little detail you might want to add is our company name on the side of the tank here. For that I would use 2 stacked half layers like this, and then some kind of lined locometal, in this case limestone copper wrapped. To glue this engine you will need 2 things. Some super glue to glue it with, and any temporary block you like just to help us in our gluing. On the front left corner of the engine we're going to place 2 temporary blocks like this, and glue from the very bottom one to the copycat corner slice on the opposing side on the cab. We're going to place 4 temporary blocks like this. From the corner one here, we're going to glue from it to the copycat corner slice on the opposite side of the cab like that. We're going to glue from our bottom left headstock to the top right of the bunker like that. Placing 2 temporary blocks underneath the buffers like this, we are going to glue from the left one to the left nameplate on the tank like that, and the same for the other side, from underneath the right buffer to the back right nameplate like that. If we've glued everything correctly, we should be able to set off now with no issues at all. So you can test it out by assembling the engine. You'll notice our deployer is extended. We can turn this off by hitting the contraption controls, and we can test out the engine by rolling it forward slightly and back. We seem to have glued it perfectly. So the very last thing this engine needs is a seat of your choice. I'm going to use a black seat. Place it on top of the rear bogie like that, and assemble the train one final time. This is a really strong and sturdy looking engine, great for pulling medium-sized branch line trains or doing some light cargo work, running in between small yards with some empty trucks or some fast mail. I hope you enjoyed this one. Until the next video, please stay hydrated, drink lots of water, go out for a nice walk if you can, and I will see you on the next one. Stay safe.